Hello, everyone. This is Mr. Donati. In today's lesson, we're going to look at pregnancy and heredity. First of all, let's take a close look at pregnancy. Once the egg is fertilized, it travels to the uterus. At the moment of conception, the cell begins to divide. This process is known as mitosis. During this, a zygote is formed. Once the zygote reaches the uterus, it has divided many times. After the fifth day, it is called a blastocyst. At that point, it will attach to the uterine wall. This is known as implantation. After 3 weeks, an embryo is formed. By the end of the eighth week, it will be known as a fetus until birth. Soon after implantation, fluid like bag of thin tissue called the amniotic sac develops around the embryo. The attachment holding the embryo to the wall of the uterus develops into a structure called the placenta. Within the placenta, oxygen and nutrients move from the mother's blood into teeny blood vessels that lead to the embryo. About 25 days after fertilization, the umbilical cord develops. This is the lifeline for the fetus. The umbilical cord will provide oxygen and nutrients for the fetus until birth. Growth of the fetus will be continuous, rapid until birth. Pregnancy is divided into 3 trimesters. When the mother's ready to give birth, nature is going to tell her that it's time. What happens is the body will begin to prep for birth. The first sign of birth is contractions. The stronger contractions will induce labor. This is a very emotional and painful experience for the mother. There are 3 stages of birth. Stage 1, the contractions will begin and the cervix will begin to dilate. The cervix must dilate to 10 centimeters before the baby can be born. Stage 2, the cervix will continue to dilate. The contractions will become very strong. This helps push the baby through the birth canal. Stage 3, the last part of the birthing process, is when the placenta leaves the mother's body. The last stage is also known as the afterbirth. Proper nutrition during pregnancy is very important. To ensure optimal health of the developing fetus, increased amounts of nutrients, including those that I'm going to mention, are needed. Calcium. This helps build strong bones and teeth and healthy nerves and muscles. It is also important in developing heart rhythm. Protein helps form muscle and most of other tissues. Iron makes red blood cells and supplies oxygen to cells. Vitamin A aids in cell and bone growth and eye development. Vitamin B complex aids in forming the nervous system. Folic acid is a critical part of spinal fluid and helps close the tube that contains the central nervous system. Um, so at this time, the mother will probably be put on a special kind of diet, making sure all those vitamins and minerals are used. Life after birth. Once the baby is born, the mother will breastfeed the newborn. This will protect the newborn from acquiring infection and reduces the newborn's mortality. The new parent's life will change forever. The parent's life will revolve around their child. There will be sleepless nights, many diaper changes. Bottle feeding will become a ritual. This is a special time where the parents will bond with their child. The role of the parent is incredibly important. Make sure when you become a parent, you enjoy time with your children. This has been said many times in the past, but kids grow up very fast. We now want to look at the DNA, our genes, and the traits that we inherit from the parents. So, first of all, we want to look at the DNA. The DNA is a chemical unit that makes up chromosomes. All living things are made up of DNA. Chemical compounds called bases make up the structure of the DNA. DNA base pairs up with each other, adenine with thymine and cytosine with guanine, to form units called base pairs. This means adenine will not pair up with cytosine, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right, or guanine. You personally are one of a kind. Our genetic makeup makes us different from other people. This is because of the genes we inherited from our parents. Heredity is the passing of traits from the parents to their children. The color of our eyes and our hair is because of the traits we received from past generations. We all have 46 chromosomes, 23 from the father and 23 from the mother. Chromosomes are thread-like structures found within the nucleus of a cell that carries the codes of inherited traits. In the nucleus of each cell, the DNA molecule is packed into thread-like structures called chromosomes. Of the 23 pairs of chromosomes, one pair, the sex chromosome, will determine the sex of the baby. If it is an XX chromosome, it will be a female. If it's XY, the baby will be male. A gene is the basic physical functional unit of heredity. Genes are made up of DNA. They are teeny bits of information carried in the chromosomes, um, the basic units of heredity. Every person has two copies of each gene, one inherited from each parent. Most genes are the same in all people, but a small number of genes, less than 1% of the total, are slightly different between people. Basically, the same gene with small differences in our sequence of DNA bases um, will contribute to each person's unique physical features. We also have a dominant and recessive genes. At least one pair of genes is responsible for human traits. Some genes are dominant and the others are recessive. The traits of dominant genes generally appear in offspring whenever they are present. The traits of recessive genes usually appear when the dominant gene is not present. We want to look real quick at a few of the genetic disorders. First one is sickle cell anemia. Red blood cells have a sickle shape and clump together. Tay Sachs disease is the destruction of the nervous system. Cystic fibrosis, mucus clogs many of the organs. Down syndromes, 47 chromosomes instead of 46, causing lifelong intellectual disabilities and developmental delays. And then hemophilia, the blood does not clot. Want to look really quick at multiple births. I am a fraternal twin. My twin brother, is about 6'2". I'm about 5'8", so I got the short end of the stick. But I was a fraternal twin, and I'll explain that in a second. First of all, multiple births are more than one baby. For example, twins, triplets, or quadruplets are called multiple births. With identical twins, one egg is fertilized, then divides. That is the reason both siblings look alike. Fraternal twins, two eggs are fertilized at the same times. The twins could look familiar or completely different. If you look at the picture to the left, these are fraternal twins. They came from the same parents. On a final note, I truly appreciate what mothers do to have kids. I understand the commitment a mother must go through during pregnancy. I am in awe of the strength of women. Because of that, here's a chance to earn bonus points. If your mother or parent emails me and tells me that you gave them a hug and told them that you love them, I will give you 5 extra credit points. It must be a big hug, not a courtesy hug, one from the heart. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed the show.